The Ferrari 458 Speciale is a true supercar icon and is the last variant of the extremely successful 458 series. Let's start by saying that this is one of the best cars ever built. Sure, the entry-level 458 was epic, but the Speciale is another level, building arguably one of the best naturally aspirated sports cars in history. Let's check out everything about the last naturally aspirated V8 Ferrari, Ferrari 458 Speciale. 5. Ferrari's last naturally aspirated V8 is a collectible. Saying goodbye is rarely easy, not even to a car, especially since it is such a special car that it bears the word Speciale in its name and was built only 499 times. The special model heralds the last round of the 458 series, and its successor was presented at the Geneva Motor Show with a bi-turbo V8. Ferrari sets new benchmark for a mid-engine car with bark on the racetrack. The mid-engine Ferrari 488 GTB Coupe replaces the 458 Italia, which will almost certainly go down as the last naturally aspirated Ferrari V8. For that fact, and because of its stunningly lithe bodywork, the 458 may join the ranks of the most collectible Ferraris of all. It may never be worth the millions that 1960s Ferraris are now fetching, but that's mainly because they built so few 250s at all, and so many 458s. So how do you top a car so successful and revered? Ferrari's solution is to upgrade almost everything. 85% of parts are new, it claims, and set new performance benchmarks for this class of car. Other differences from the Italia include the aerodynamically optimized design with movable air deflectors at the front and rear, a 90-kilogram weight advantage thanks to lightweight construction, and modified vehicle electronics that even help the driver when drifting. 4. The engine. Lighter, stronger, faster. That's how the Ferrari 458 Speciale compares to its base model. The really special thing about the super sports car, however, is a small button in the interior. This button activates the side slip angle control, SSC, a kind of drift aid for amateurs. Another innovation is the most powerful V8 ever built by Ferrari in the rear of the 458 Speciale. The 4.5-liter engine produces 605 horsepower and 45 Nm of torque. With a power-to-weight ratio of 2.13 kilograms per horsepower, the 458 Speciale sprints to 100 kilometers an hour in a smooth 3 seconds, with a top speed of 325 kilometers an hour. At the 2014 Paris Motor Show, Ferrari unveiled the open-top version of the 458 Speciale. Limited to 499 units, the Spider has a retractable aluminum roof, 50 kilograms extra weight, that can be retracted and extended in 14 seconds. Two major considerations from the engineers were to make sure the acceleration was linear, like the traditional Atmo V8 that Ferrari owners associate with this class of car, and to make sure it had the sound to match. On the first front, it's an almost unqualified success with stunning acceleration that seems to build and no obvious turbo lag. However, at low engine speeds, the car is too quiet for some tastes, and turbo whistle has been largely but not completely eradicated. By way of example, as you walked past the main factory gates after the launch, a 458 went one way and a 488 the other, both at about 50 kilometers an hour. That's nothing unusual there. Maranello is the one place where Ferraris don't always turn heads. However, the naturally aspirated 458 produced a low, distinctive V8 rumble at that speed, while the 488 almost sneaked by. The output of the 4.5-liter V8 engine of the 458 Speciale is increased by around 5% to 605 horsepower compared with the 458. Not to mention the muffled shifting salvos when the dual-clutch transmission rams the next gear into the drivetrain, and then it roars out of the pipe again. High revs penetrate the ear like pinpricks, and the Ferrari 458 Speciale A ducks under its own sonic storm. It pushes a cloud of sound in front of it that must have long since pushed it out of the tunnel at the top. Noise, pain, adrenaline. You can't help it. You have to keep revving up to 9,000 RPM. 3. Performance. Out of a hairpin bend and into a straight that is only 782 meters, the 458 Speciale hits better than 240 kilometers an hour. On the road loops we covered in the hills around the factory, the same roads used for developing road-going Ferraris. The compliance of the magnetic adaptive suspension was almost as impressive as the speed. On a car this quick, you might expect to end up bruised and sore after punting it hard down some pretty rough, narrow, and hilly roads. But the comfort level, even with the harder and lighter sports seats fitted to our car, was surprisingly good. The handling is excellent, though not necessarily much different from the 458, from which it carries over the old-school hydraulic steering, which is direct, precise, and very quick. Ferrari would like to pretend it had no interest in what upstart McLaren is doing, but this update brings the performance ever so slightly ahead of the Brits' equivalent model, the 650S. The Ferrari reaches 100 km an hour in just 3 seconds flat, and 0 to 200 in an equally impressive 8.3 seconds. The McLaren, also turbocharged, can equal that 3-second figure, but takes a fraction longer to reach 200 km an hour, 8.4 seconds. Both cars must be right at the limit of the acceleration that is possible with two-wheel drive and current road car tire technology. Ferrari insists its new bodywork is all about function. Even the door handles are shaped like mini wings, and there is a newly designed diffuser at the rear, which works with the flat floor. 2. Drag. The diffuser has active flaps to increase downforce or reduce drag depending on conditions. As with the 458, there is no pop-up rear spoiler. The same effect is achieved by moving the air around and through the bodywork. Fuel consumption has been improved. Not that improved fuel efficiency is ever likely to persuade anyone to buy a Ferrari. The epic low-down torque enables the more efficient engine to tackle almost all everyday driving in the high gears. The 7-speed dual-clutch box can be used in auto or manual mode, and there are 5 driving modes available via the steering wheel-mounted Monotino switch. The interior is new, though very familiar. As with the exterior, the dashboard is slightly more angular and less flowing than before. Those who were worried that their car might be home to Chrysler buttons and switches, as with Maserati, can rest assured for now. The driving position is great, though some of the switches and gauges remain a bit fiddly. When we reported that our sat-nav managed to get us lost, one of the Italian engineers laughed and said something to the effect of, "Our expertise is in power and passion, not navigation." A few interesting things from the presentation, which included charts about maximum thermal cylinder loadings. Number 1. Ferrari 458 Speciale. More of everything. If the 458 ever becomes boring to you, the aftermarket has embraced it with a host of upgrade parts. A new computer unlocks more aggressive engine tuning. The stock exhaust is quiet by today's standards, so a pair of headers antagonize the Homeowners Association. Our friends at Underground Racing allow you to drive a twin-turbo flamethrower to work, so give them something to talk about. To make your choice all the much harder, Ferrari built the 458 in several configurations. The 458 Italia is a coupe. Spider is a hardtop convertible. A 458 Speciale is literally a special version with optimized aerodynamics, more power, and less weight. The most desirable is the Speciale A, an aperta, or convertible version of the Speciale. The racing versions include the 458 Challenge, along with GT2 and GT3 models, but they're outside the realm of a daily driver. The only other noteworthy street version is the 458 SP12 EC, ordered by Eric Clapton. It looks stunning at the crossroads. The 458 Speciale boasts the same 4.5-liter V8 as the standard car, but it's been given a 35 bhp power hike and puts out 597 bhp. Some basic maths tells us that it puts out 133 bhp per liter, which is more than any naturally aspirated engine before it. Extra power means extra speed. The 458 Speciale now hits 62 miles per hour from rest in 3 seconds, down from 3.4 in the lesser models. It goes 0 to 124 miles per hour in just 9.1 seconds, which in more realistic terms is the amount of time it takes a Mini Cooper to hit 62 miles per hour. Damn. Ferrari hasn't released a top speed as of yet, but it's safe to say it'll best the base model's 202 miles per hour by some margin. However, the Italian firm has said it's 1.5 seconds faster around its test track than an Enzo and only half a second off the F12 Berlinetta's pace. Again, damn. Its speed comes not only from its power, but also its tweaked aerodynamics. Gone are the entry-level car's bendable wings. In are 2 massive air dams. There are wings on the side of its chin to smooth airflow over the front wheels and another set at the back to calm the wind rushing over the rears. Ferrari has replaced the smooth bonnet with a pretty massive scoop, which means the boot underneath is probably now only suitable for a spare pair of pants and some wet wipes for a passenger. Do let us know in the comments if you love this supercar. Thanks for watching.